You might have had this happen to you. You got dressed in the morning and you felt great in your outfit. It felt so good, so like you, nothing to change. Then you went out, you went about your day, and suddenly it didn't feel quite right anymore. Your choice from this morning just feels a little bit off. Maybe you feel overdressed, maybe you feel underdressed, or the tone of your outfit just feels a little bit off. It's not that your outfit is wrong necessarily. It's just that it most likely doesn't match the setting anymore. There is a mismatch in the communication between your outfits and the situation. Today we are talking about how your outfit relates to the setting that you might find yourself in, and how to feel like you, no matter the setting and no matter your personal style. Because it's called personal style for a reason. So let's grab your drink of choice and let's get into this. I have my kombucha here. I love a good kombucha. Yes, I am drinking it from a wine glass, just because I can. I actually don't drink alcohol, so this is like the closest to a fancier drink like this that I'll ever get. And I love these wine glasses, so I'm going to take the opportunity to enjoy these, because why wouldn't I? Alright, so to start with, you are going to need to get clear on your personal style. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to match your personal style to any setting, because if you're not clear on your personal style, there's no starting point. So what makes you feel like yourself in your outfits? That is the question I want you to ask yourself in order to figure this out. And there are different tools that you can use to help you figure out what your personal style might look like. Like I said, this is going to look very different for everyone, but these tools should help you figure it out for you. So I think something that's super helpful is the 3 style words. I talked about this a little bit more in a recent video I did on wardrobe basics, why they might not work for you and how to make them work for you. So I'll link that video up in the cards for you and in the description box if you'd like to check that out. But just having 3 words to describe your personal style is a really helpful tool to take you along this journey. So highly recommend to start there. Then something else you might think about is your color story. I'm actually wearing the wrong dress for this in this video. How am I always managing to not wear quite the right outfits to make my point come across? I think I also did the same thing in that basics video where I was wearing something completely different from what I was talking about. Anywho, having a color story or a color palette can be super helpful to feel like yourself, whatever the setting might be. So the dress that I'm wearing right now, while stunning, like it's so beautiful. It is a dress by Fabrique and it's very comfortable for this warm weather. It's a linen viscose blend, I believe. It's just so lightweight, so comfy. And I love the print, I love the cut of it. However, the color is slightly off for me personally. It does make me look a bit more pale than I already am. I am very pale. This does not help matters, but I don't mind. It's so good. So this dress is also slightly out of my usual color palette, which consists of a lot of whites, blues, greens, and then some purples. There is some purple in here, there's also some green, just slightly different tones from what I usually wear. That said, otherwise this dress feels very much like me. Like I said, it does still have some of the colors in there that I like to wear. It's just that the whole overall tone of the dress is leaning slightly warmer, whereas my personal color palette tends to be slightly cooler. Like I said, I can make it work. I don't mind it because I love the cut, I love the fabric, and I love the print of this. But getting clear on your personal color story, your color palette, can really help this. Looking at fabric choice, again, this might actually be a good one to show you. We are all going to have certain fabrics that we gravitate towards, that we enjoy wearing, and that just feel comfortable. They feel like us, they feel good. So your fabric choice can also help you figure out your personal style. It can be a big part of your personal style. Like I mentioned, I love wearing linens. They just feel great. They tie in really nicely with my word organic, which is in my 3 words. In case you're wondering, my 3 words are elegant, whimsical, and organic. And I do think this dress plays into all of those, which is probably why this still works for me, even if the color is maybe slightly off. So fabric choice can be a big one for you. I also know that I like more drapey pieces rather than very structured pieces. So that's something that really helps, and that also comes in with the fabric that I choose. I like a drapier fabric, I like a more flowy fabric, but you might really like that structure and it might really suit you. So figure out for yourself fabrics you like and that you enjoy. Like I said, mine are mostly the more natural fabrics. I love wearing linens, a cotton is nice, I like wearing wools. So being clear on that can really help you figure this out and also help you to figure out what actually feels like you, no matter what setting you're dressing for. Then we are going to be looking at the details in your outfits, the details in your pieces. This can really help you figure out what works for you. Now your details should tie in with your 3 words. That's going to be, again, super helpful. I like more whimsical and feminine touches in my pieces. I like a ruffle. Maybe this dress is the right one for this video. I like ruffle details. I also like a square neckline a lot. I think it really suits me. I like something where my waist is more defined. This could be a little bit tighter probably. I was kind of in between sizes and decided for a summer dress I would rather have it fit a little bit looser than tighter. For my dress and skirts, I usually prefer a midi or maxi length, which is a specific detail in the outfit, in the clothes, that make me feel comfortable. I also like the little buttons on this. So figure out details that you like in your clothing. Maybe it's in the neckline, it might be in the cut of your clothing, maybe prints that you really enjoy or that you'd rather not wear. Maybe you love things like bows, maybe you like lace, maybe you like pleating, maybe you just want something super sleek and simple. Doesn't really matter, but figure out what details you love in your pieces, in your outfits, and what will work for you because of that. And then I also already kind of touched on this, silhouettes. What are silhouettes that you feel great in? What are silhouettes that work for you? I know for myself that I really like it when my waist is defined a little bit. I think that really suits me. I also know that I like a generally more voluminous skirt. I like something that has a little bit more volume in a skirt. That said, I do also have a pencil skirt that I love wearing. Maybe you like a really straight silhouette, maybe you like something that really shows off your curves or that creates curves for you. Figure out silhouettes that you like. And this kind of goes almost into the realm of your body shape and working with that or not. I truly don't care what your body shape would be. I'm guessing I'm probably a hourglass, maybe leaning rectangle because my shoulders and hips are pretty much the exact same measurements. My waist is defined with about a 25 centimeter difference from my shoulders and hips. So I'm guessing it's hourglass, but then I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I do think it could be helpful for you to figure out your body shape, but I don't necessarily think you have to dress for your body shape. That is because our preferences are going to be so different. The whole dressing for your body shape thing goes into creating balance in your outfit, so making it really pleasing to the eye, but that might not fit with your personal style or your preferences. So keep that in mind, please. But knowing this and knowing how to play with the shape of your pieces to accentuate certain parts of your body can be really helpful. So that is where I think it can be nice to know, and to know a little bit about the shapes and what they do for an outfit and the balance in an outfit. What a certain shape is going to accentuate or what it's going to cover up, basically. So yeah, that was a bit of a ramble. Let me know if you would like to know more about it. I could do an entire video on this, on body shapes and how to dress for your preferences in that. But with all of these points, you should get a fairly good idea of what your personal style looks like. Also, making a vision board can be super helpful in this. I love Pinterest, but by now you should be getting an idea of what your personal style looks like, what you feel good in, no matter what. So now let's look at the formality level that you might find yourself in, and that usually is the biggest reason that an outfit is going to feel off, even though it's something that suits your personal style. So we need to get clear on the setting. What setting are you dressing for? What event are you dressing for? And what is the formality level for that setting? Is there a certain formality level or dress code for the place that you're going or for the event that you're going to? Which, hey, going to the gym is also an event in this case. Like, there's a certain practicality you need to dress for in that case. So it doesn't matter what the event is, doesn't matter what the formality level is, but figure it out for that event. So if you're going somewhere and you don't really know how formal you should dress for this, it can be really helpful to look at the dress code for that place or that event. If you already know the dress code, that's great. If not, you can just Google the event or the place that you're going, look at pictures or videos, and that usually will give you an idea of what people typically wear there. I'm gonna try a throat from all the talking. So good. I love kombucha. You most likely will see some sort of theme or red threads going through all of the pictures from a certain location or event, and that should give you a pretty good idea of the formality level that you're dressing for. In this case, if you are in doubt, I usually recommend going for a slightly dressier option from like what you are considering, from what you're on the fence about, what you're not sure about. Go for the dressier option. I have this happen to me before where I went for the slightly less dressy option, and honestly, that doesn't feel great. Whereas when you go for the slightly dressier version that you were thinking about, that's going to fit in much better than the less dressy option usually. So going for a slightly more formal option is typically the way to go here, because going slightly more formal or dressy is just going to make people notice that you put in some time and some effort and that you're confident in yourself and that you look nice. That's fine if people notice that, right? That's not something to be feeling yucky about. If you are dressed less formal than what the event calls for, or the situation, the location, that's going to feel off and not in a nice way. It's like you didn't try as much as anyone else in the room, as everyone else in the room. You just didn't really care. We don't want that to happen. So if in doubt, go slightly more dressy or formal. If you have no idea what I'm talking about with formality levels, maybe I should have started here. Different levels of formality could be going from low to high. Loungewear and homeware, like pajamas, could be in that category, maybe even slightly lower. Activewear, then we have more of an unpolished casual, more of a polished casual. We have a business level, and then we're going into more of a dressy level. The specific levels of formality you have in your life, it might depend on your life and the events that you're going to. For me, I pretty much don't have the category of homeware, loungewear in my wardrobe at all, because I don't feel comfortable in it. I like to be dressed slightly more on the dressier side, I guess. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Go for what feels comfortable to you. Like I said, this dress could be feeling very dressy for someone. For me, it's more of a polished casual. This is something that I wear just on a casual day. I might also wear it to a party because I can dress it up, which is the nice thing about dresses, if you ask me. They are so versatile in the way that you style them. You can easily dress them up or down. But even dressed down, they still feel fairly polished, which I like, which ties in with the more elegant word in my 3 style words. So, depending on your life, and honestly depending on the setting, there might be a mix of these levels of formality in there as well. That's okay, like business casual. I believe that's also a formality level that people have to dress for occasionally. I haven't really had that come up in my life, but maybe it is a category in yours. Alright, so you have a pretty good idea of your personal style, and you also have a pretty good idea of the level of formality for the setting that you will find yourself in. So now let's get these together to figure out what you're going to wear. Now all there is left to do is to write a cohesive story between your outfits and the setting, which is probably why you clicked on this video. Which means that we are going to be figuring out how to match your personal style to the setting that you are dressing for and to the formality level for that setting. I actually think it's very helpful to start with the latter. So starting with the formality level that you will be dressing for. Is there a dress code? Start there. If there's a dress code, that gives you a very clear idea of how you're going to be dressing. Otherwise, if there's not a clear dress code, try to figure out the formality level for that situation, for that setting. A beach day is going to ask something very different from a wedding, obviously. So take a look at the setting that you will find yourself in and figure out the formality level for that setting. Then all there's left to do is to figure out where there is overlap between your personal style and the setting. So which elements of your personal style can you make work for the formality level that you are dressing for? So for example, the silhouettes that you like to wear. Can you make any of those work for the formality level that you are dressing for? Is there maybe a fabric match or a color match? So for example, certain settings are going to ask for a more muted color palette. Others, a more bright color palette will work. So figure out if there's a match between your color palettes and the setting that you're dressing for. Also the fabrics that you might choose. Can you figure out a match for the fabrics you enjoy wearing and that level of formality? For example, a silk is going to feel a lot dressier than a plain cotton will. Doesn't mean that you cannot make either work. It might just take a little bit more work on the side of the silhouettes or on the side of like the color or any details in the outfits if you want to make something work that doesn't quite fit the setting. But that's what's really fun to play with, honestly. And then finally, just add in the details that make you feel like yourself in your outfits. I have some jewelry that I pretty much always wear. I always wear this necklace, always wear these rings, smart ring and then just normal ring. And I always wear some combination of an earring. Today I'm actually wearing earrings that used to be my grandmother's, so kind of special. Also, think about your accessories that you'll be wearing. Is there something that matches the formality level and that also really feels like you, where you can really add a touch of your personal style in? Even if the rest might be more confined to a dress code, you can usually play around with your accessories and your jewelry to really make something feel like yourself. And then two very helpful questions are: how do you want to feel in your outfits? Which can change depending on the setting. And what do you want to communicate? Again, which can change depending on the setting that you will find yourself in. For example, in a business setting, you will probably want to communicate something like confidence or trustworthiness, whereas in a wedding, you are more likely to want to communicate something along the lines of joy or maybe respect. I guess respect would also be a good idea in a business setting. But what you want to communicate will depend on the setting. So think about how your outfits can communicate that. Again, this is probably something I could go into a lot deeper in a different video. So if that is something you would like to see, let me know and I can really dive into that for you. But yeah, that was my whole spiel on dressing for a setting and making it feel like you, no matter your personal style, no matter the setting. I hope these tips were helpful for you. If so, please give the video a thumbs up, which truly helps out my channel. It might just mean that one more person gets to see this video. So thank you if you do. Maybe share it with a friend if there's someone you feel like this would be helpful for. And with that, I wish you a lovely rest of your day and I hope to see you soon. Bye!